Excellency, Deputy Prime Minister, Excellencies, colleagues from the Ministry of Education, Youth and Sports, development partners, and distinguished guests, good afternoon. It's a pleasure for us from UNESCO to be a part of the Cambodia First EdTech Summit. We would really like to thank the Ministry for extending the invitation to UNESCO for being a part of this important event. My name is Anders Lee, and I'm the Program Manager at UNESCO Phnom Penh office. And I'm very excited to be a part of this panel discussion on ethics in AI in education. Maybe perhaps first of all, since it's just after lunch, maybe if I can have a show of hands, how many of us is using ChatGPT in work and studies? Oh, I also use it, don't be shy. So that's great. I think, what about, let's say, TikTok, Facebook? I think probably all of us, right, as I expected. So as you can see from the show of hands here, I mean, AI has now permeated in all aspects of our lives. And when ChatGPT was first launched at the end of 2022, it started grabbing headlines of, let's say, what the potential of AI, and especially in education, can be. And now increasingly, university students, high school students around the world are all using AI in some aspects in their education and also in teaching and learning. And of course, as you're aware, social media platforms, for example, they use AI to personalize the content. It takes information looking at how you interact with the platform, what content you're interested in, and then using this data to then feed into personalizing the content that you see, thinking of what they think you know in this. And from what we can see now, when ChatGPT was launched and now in January 2023, there is already 100 million active users monthly using ChatGPT, so that's quite a huge reach. And also, while the jury is still out on the benefits of generative AI in education, I think it's undeniable now that it will continue to influence the way we learn, the way we work, and the way we think. And with this rapid changes, I think we should also consider some of these things that are also important in this debate around AI in education, and that is on child safety, data protection, and also how to use AI ethically and safely, which my wonderful panel will also discuss later on in just a bit. Next slide, please. Okay, great, thanks. Maybe before we just touch on all these things around AI ethics and so on, I just wanted to quickly touch upon some of the successful examples that we're coming up to see in terms of the successful use of generative AI in education. Of course, let's say within education management and delivery, the first thing is on school administrations. There are certain aspects of school administrations that can be automated, especially some of the more routine, repetitive tasks, and also some of the lower tasks that can be automated. So things like admission process, timetabling, recording of attendance, and so on. And of course, another important thing that's always has been coming up in the last few years is the use of big data, data visualization for better education policy and planning. And in terms of the learning and assessment process, AI, there's also been examples of seeing AI sort of playing a supporting role to teachers with this concept of human teachers, AI assistants collaboration. And I think one of the most classic examples of the use of AI is really that AI has been used to personalize the student learning experience in terms of customizing content. So using knowledge tracing and also machine learning, the software, usually a software is able to understand the student's weaknesses and also the strength, and then personalize and customize the content for the student learning experience. And there are also examples of AI tutors, chatbots which use real-time analytics based on the inputs from the students, and then providing targeted and real-time feedback. And with this, perhaps just a more cautionary note around, let's say, the associated risk that we are seeing also with generative AI. I think one of the main things of course, we can see already is that the development of generative AI is outpacing national regulatory framework adoption. And that's really a very important thing in terms of the governance of generative AI, who controls who, and also thinking about the future of our human agencies. And of course, one of the other some other issues is around the digital poverty, which also then impacts and potentially worsens the digital divide. And that's really because ChatGPT, as we are all aware, the vast majority of ChatGPT or AI models are in English language, and also the data that it feeds into these models are also predominantly in English language. So that potentially could also worsen this division of what information feeds into the generative AI model. And sorry, could we go back? And also, I think one of the main things I really want to highlight is that generative AI models are not quite like us human beings. It really doesn't understand the nuances of the real world in the same way that we do as humans. And I think that's really important because it doesn't form its own judgment, its own observation of the real world, and it doesn't share the same human and social values that we have as humans. Next slide. So in thinking about the futures of learning and artificial intelligence and how it plays a role in shaping this or influencing the futures of learning, I think we need to ask ourselves, take a step back and ask ourselves these two very big questions, which is, what kind of human societies are we looking to build in today's AI society? And also, what types of human competencies are important in achieving this desired human societies in this AI era? And I think if we take an approach in centering humanness and in all of this adoption in generative AI in education, then I think we are sort of on, we can say that we will be on the right path in adopting AI in education. And that's really focusing on human agencies, our inclusion, equity, gender equality, linguistics and cultural diversity, and also upholding the diversity of opinion and expression. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So I just wanted to take this opportunity, if let's say there is one main concept that I would like the audience to take home today, is this concept of human-centered AI in education. And this is really at the heart of what we do as UNESCO in AI in education globally. So since 2019, when we had the Beijing consensus that was adopted at the International Conference on AI in education, it really has set forth this momentum of thinking about AI literacy, the need for AI literacy and competencies around our citizens, around people around the world to kind of shape what is this AI society citizenship moving forward. And that's really the first document to offer guidance and recommendation on how best to harness AI technology for achieving SDG 2030 agenda. And I took out this line from the Beijing Consensus. It's one of the commitments by government and member states, which I think is really important and really speaks to our sort of hope for this integration of AI technologies in education in our everyday life, which is, we also affirm that the development of AI should be human-centered, human-controlled and center of people, that the deployment of AI should be in the service of people to enhance human capacities, and that AI should be designed in an ethical, non-discriminatory, equitable, transparent, and auditable manner. Next slide, please. So in achieving this human-centered AI in education, from a policy perspective, I just want to highlight this, let's say, 4 strategies in implementing or integrating human-centered AI in education. First of all is regulating the ethics of AI in education. Second is promoting the design and use of AI for inclusion and equity. The third is building the AI competencies for both teachers and students. And fourth it's exploiting the use of AI to support the futures of learning. Next slide. Next slide, please. So in the interest of time, I'm just going to touch on the third strategy, which is on building AI competencies amongst teachers and students. And with this, I just wanted to kind of present to us some of the key objectives when we think about what are the important AI competencies for both teachers and students. So when we are talking about AI competencies for teachers, what do we want our teachers to be? What is the role of teachers in the today's AI world? So teachers should be trained and supported to become critical reviewer of AI and AI society citizens. They should be co-creators of the ethical rules and be role models of AI ethics themselves. And then they will be co-designers of AI-assisted learning settings, and they are accountable designers and facilitators of AI pedagogies. And finally, in line with the role of teachers as lifelong learners, as this is still an emerging technology, is that teachers will continue to remain as co-learners also of AI. And for students, that's also a really big focus of what students, because they will be the next generation of experts in AI and AI development. What do we want our students to be when we introduce AI to them? And in the education system, we want to develop their AI literacy and competencies for ethical, responsible, and creative AI citizens. So we want the students to be critical AI citizens, not AI ethics. We want them to be responsible users of AI and not deepfake distributors. We want them to be co-creators of AI tools. And finally, we want them to be leaders of the next generation of AI and not just route coders. Next slide, please. So I wanted to share with you two competencies framework that was launched by UNESCO in September last year during the Digital Learning Week. The first one is the UNESCO Global AI Competency Framework for Teachers, which defines the knowledge, skills, and values that teachers must embody in the age of AI. And this is really developed with the principle of protecting teachers' rights, enhancing human agencies, and promoting sustainability. So as you can see, this competency framework is structured around 3 progression levels. So the most basic level is acquiring, let's say, the most fundamental skills and knowledge of AI tools and applications, and then moving on to the second, deeper level, and finally where teachers become co-creators in ethics in AI and also developing relevant tools and pedagogies using AI into their teaching and learning practices. So these are, the 3 levels are structured around 5 main aspects of AI competency. The first one being human-centered mindset, and that's really to anchor the value and the attitudes that teachers must embody around human-AI interactions. And the second aspect is on ethics of AI. And the third is on AI foundations and application, which refers to the knowledge of the different AI applications, what do they do, what are their limitations. And the fourth is on AI pedagogy, which is then building on the third aspect. Once we know what the different tools are, how do you then use it and integrate it into AI-assisted teaching and learning. And finally is AI for professional development, to continue using it for teachers to drive their own teachers' own professional development. Next, please. So in terms of the UNESCO AI competency framework for students, it outlines 12 different competencies across 4 dimensions for the education system to prepare students as responsible users and co-creators of AI. Again, you can see that this is structured around 3 progression level and 4 different aspects of the AI competencies. Here, I would just want to highlight that the framework recognizes that most students or some students will not have the interest or competencies to move beyond the apply level. So most students would actually end or exit their AI competency development at the apply level, and we will have a smaller group of expert students, let's say, that move into the create level, where they will be the ones who take the AI competency forward to develop new technology, enhance existing technology, and so on. And also, I just want to highlight that in all of these two frameworks, the main thing we have to recognize is that this also really depends on various factors: access to digital infrastructure, internet, professional development opportunities, and so on. Next slide. And before I end my presentation, I just want to share some of the global resources that we have at UNESCO on AI and education. You can scan some of the QR codes to access the documents, yeah, or you can search on our website. Next slide. So before I end my presentation, I just want to have the concluding note that AI cannot replace us as humans or human teachers in building cognitive skills, critical thinking, and also our social skills. And we must ensure that investment in technology does not replace resources and investment in human teachers. And with that, if you're interested in our teacher education program in Cambodia, please scan the QR code. Thank you.
ចា៎នេះខ្ញុំសូមអរគុណលោក Andersley ចា៎អ្នកគ្រប់គ្រងកម្មវិធី STEM Camp នៃអង្គការ UNESCO សម្រាប់ការធ្វើបទបង្ហាញដែលទាក់ទងទៅនឹង AI នៅក្នុងវិស័យអប់រំចា៎សូមអរគុណ